Today, our journey begins in China's Kubuki Desert, a place people once didn't just call a desert, they called it the Sea of Death. Because here, life was slowly disappearing. Every single year, nearly 500,000 acres of land vanished beneath endless waves of sand. Fertile farmland turned into wasteland right before people's eyes. Trees dried up, villages collapsed, families were forced to abandon their homes and leave everything behind. Everywhere you looked, there was nothing but rolling dunes, scorching winds, and a silence so heavy, it felt like nature itself had given up. But the most terrifying part was, this desert wasn't staying still. It kept spreading. Year after year, roads, farms, and entire communities were swallowed by sand. This deadly process is known as desertification, when living land slowly transforms into barren desert. And Kubuki became one of the worst examples on Earth. At one point, the desert was expanding so fast that it seemed impossible to stop. But China refused to surrender. Massive projects were launched, millions of trees were planted, sand control stations were built, billions of dollars were invested trying to hold the desert back. But nothing worked. No matter how hard they fought, it felt like they were losing the battle against nature itself. And then, one man stepped forward with an idea so strange that people laughed at him. His name was Wang Wenbiao, and what he planned to do next sounded completely insane.
Using his own savings and taking on massive debts, Wang Wenbiao began what many called pure madness. He brought in more than 100 bulldozers and over 300 workers. For months, sometimes working 18 hours a day, the crews battled brutal heat, violent winds, and endless sandstorms. But Wang had a plan. First, workers built thousands of small square barriers across the desert using dry shrubs and straw. These grades were designed to stop the sand from moving freely. Then inside those squares, they planted willow trees. But these weren't ordinary trees. Willows are incredibly resilient. Their roots can travel hundreds of feet underground searching for water. In places where almost nothing else can survive, these trees still find a way to live. But there was a huge problem. The desert winds were unbelievably powerful. The sandstorms stripped away moisture from the soil before the young trees even had a chance to grow. Many saplings died almost immediately. So Wang created another strategy. He surrounded the young trees with brush barriers that slowed the wind and trapped moisture inside the soil. And slowly, something unbelievable started happening. A few trees survived, then more. Their roots pushed deeper underground. The moving sand began slowing down. For the first time, it felt like the impossible might actually become possible. But then another major obstacle appeared.
The trees were alive, but keeping them alive was becoming a nightmare. Young willow branches needed constant trimming. Without pruning, the trunks wouldn't grow thick and strong enough to survive the desert. And doing this by hand across a massive desert was nearly impossible. It would cost a fortune. It would take endless manpower. And the question became, who could possibly maintain an entire desert ecosystem? That's when the story took a completely unexpected turn. The job humans struggled to do was suddenly handed over to a tiny animal. Rabbits. A special breed called Rex rabbits was introduced into the desert. These rabbits are often nicknamed white gold because of their incredibly soft and valuable fur. A high-quality pelt could sell for around $30, while raising one rabbit cost only about $2. That meant huge profits for local families. But the real magic wasn't the fur. The real secret was hidden inside one small habit. Rex rabbits absolutely loved eating young willow shoots. And when they chewed off the soft new branches, the trees responded by growing thicker, stronger, and more stable trunks. In other words, the rabbits naturally performed the exact pruning process humans were struggling to manage. And that changed everything.
But the rabbits did far more than trim branches. Their waste became a powerful natural fertilizer for the dead soil. Slowly, the dry and lifeless ground began recovering. Then, another surprise appeared. The rabbits ate grass, but many seeds passed through their digestive systems unharmed. which meant those seeds were naturally replanted across the desert through their droppings. And after some time, patches of grass began appearing where there had once been nothing but sand. A completely new cycle had formed. Nature and animals were now working together. The moving dunes slowed down. Moisture stayed trapped in the soil longer. The winds could no longer carry sand across the land like before. And within just a few years, parts of the dead desert slowly started turning green. What once looked impossible was becoming reality. But the transformation didn't stop with the environment. It began changing people's lives too.
And maybe that's the biggest lesson of this story. People may laugh at your vision. They may call your dream impossible. But that doesn't mean you should give up on it. Because almost every person who changed the world was laughed at first. Now the decision is yours.